Good morning, this is Lorena Tanori.
And I am Valeria Arballo.
We are here for our 10 minutes of wellness, and today we are going to talk to you about healthy relationships, which seems appropriate for upcoming February 14.
Valentine's Day.
Healthy relationships, how do we help children and students identify or be able to differentiate between what is a healthy relationship and what isn't a healthy relationship? So as we know, we as human beings are beings that thrive in connection with other people, and we need to be in community with others. So given that, we need to have relationships to be able to thrive and experience also in life. So how can we help students or our children be able to identify what are those relationships that help them grow, that help them feel good about themselves, that add to their life? So those relationships that are healthy, and how can they identify those relationships that might not be healthy for them, that actually pose a threat to their safety and even to their well-being? So, which can get tricky, right? Because as we grow, kids are constantly developing these skills. But something that we really need to consider is that children develop these relationship building skills very early in life. So learning about how we interact, how we communicate, what boundaries we have, and how our relationships go start really early in life. And we actually saw a video yesterday regarding early childhood development, right? So these skills are developed really early in life. And so how do kids learn? And they learn through modeling. So as adults, as parents, we must also be aware and consider, what are we demonstrating, or how are we showing our kids to relate to others? And this comes from your relationships, whether it's romantic, like with your spouse or significant other, the relationship you have with your own kiddo, as well as with others, whether it's social, friendships, in community, and even in your work, right? So how the adult or parent relates to other people becomes a blueprint for the child, that will serve them later on in life. They'll repeat those habits or behaviors or that relationship interaction as they grow in life. So Valeria will provide you with some examples of what are healthy relationships and what are not healthy relationships.
With healthy relationships, we have to remember that a lot of times our kids, like let's say they're in middle school, they see their friends in a relationship or just in a friendship, and they hear their friends say, I don't like that person, so you cannot talk to that person. So if we don't explain to them that is not a healthy friendship, they start thinking, oh, well, that is okay. So if they're thinking that's okay with friendships, when they grow up later on into a relationship, and their significant other says, well, you can't talk to this person, they might grow up thinking, well, when I was little, my friend told me I couldn't talk to them, and it's a friendship code, then that means that this is a relationship code. I shouldn't be talking to the person they're telling me to talk. And sometimes in reality, that is not a healthy relationship. So it is very important that we start teaching our kids the difference between unhealthy and healthy relationships. So a healthy relationship is respecting each other's boundaries. If we say no and they respect it, it means that it is a healthy one. Another one is the good communication with each other, being able to listen to your friend or your family member, your significant other. The respect. Also, there has to be respect, because if there isn't, that is also considered unhealthy. There is the trust with one another. You can trust that friendship. For instance, oh, I don't like that person. You may not like him, but I like that person. But you can trust me and not betraying that friendship relationship or that more serious relationship. It's also fair. The compromising, right? That's what mostly means, like the fairness, just being able to compromise. There is also the abusive relationship, and I know that this might kind of trigger some viewers out there. We apologize ahead of time, but an abusive relationship is insulting one another, using negative words, saying bad words to each other. The list can just go on, as well as hitting each other. And not only does the hitting and the insulting just means that, like, in a serious relationship, it can also happen with the friendship. Because, as friends, you just might insult one another, call each other just mean things, and not being supportive. Trying to control, as I mentioned earlier, you can't hang around with that person. As well as isolating friends and family is considered an abusive. And the unhealthy is also considered in that aspect of abusive, but kind of just falls into the category itself. So it's like just respecting, not trusting, saying things like, if you're my friend, you're gonna go do this. Like, no, that is not a healthy relationship whatsoever. Or even in a serious relationship, if you love me, you're gonna go do this and you're gonna go do that. And we have to teach our kids that is not healthy whatsoever. Trying to take control, which is like, I'm gonna take control over you. And I can go on with that list. Keeping information from one another is also very unhealthy, which is considered not good communication. The intimidation is also considered in that aspect of unhealthy. If you know somebody or just have more questions on what is an unhealthy relationship, or you feel like you might be in an abusive relationship, even if it's a simple friendship, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline number, and that is 1-800-799-7233. You can also text START to 88788. You can also go into to their National Domestic Violence website to get more information on those signs. There's also I actually recommend parents to talk to their children and teach them at a young age the difference of seeing that. Because like I said earlier, the role models, with their friendships happen at school. And if they think it's okay with their friends, they might think it's okay in a relationship.
And then having that open communication with your child or student, right, where you create that safe space where your child comes to you and you allow them to tell you what is happening or how they feel about a certain someone or a certain situation, can also lead to that conversation, right? Identifying, okay, so what is happening to them and how they can be able to confront or change that as well.
Yes. Exactly.
And for those students, like middle school, high school, even elementary students, go to your school counselor, or as parents, be connected with your school and, have that conversation, whether it is with the teacher or with the counselor, how to help your child be able to address certain needs that are happening with maybe a student or another kiddo. And if you're also seeing any signs, right,
yes, definitely.
that also is a form of identifying what it is that we need to do as adults, as parents, to be able to help.
Yes. Another thing that I would like to mention, it also starts with us. I think runs in our culture when we kind of say things like, oh, you're so dumb, like how did you spill the milk? Then if it's coming from like their loved ones and they go into that friendship, then they're gonna start thinking, well, my parents called me dumb, so it must be okay for my friend to insult me, or vice versa. So it's also very important to kind of remind ourselves not to use those negative words, because it also does fall back
Right.
with us as well.
Modeling.
Yes.
And so when we have a healthy relationship with our own kids, or you are the adult in the child's life and you have a healthy relationship, you are giving the communication, you are providing the safe space, you are providing the support. It will also impact their resilience, and as they grow and be around other people, it'll create confidence in them too, to speak up and to set boundaries and to come up to you or seek help when needed.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank you. We will see you next time.
Yes, definitely. Have a good one.